In this step, I'm going to use a very thin Sharpie, the Ultra Fine, and I'm going to start by just about outlining all of the lines in my first object, the ones I did in pencil. Then I'm going to go back through with those new techniques that we learned for drawing, adding shading using only lines. That would be hatching, cross-hatching, stippling, or scumbling. I like to make sure that when I am choosing which of those elements I'm going to use, I'm choosing it based off of the object and how it looks in my reference photo, as well as also considering which object is next to another one that I already used that technique. Does that make sense? So if I put hatching on this book here, I on the cupcakes don't want to do hatching as well, or at least not a lot of it, because it's going to kind of blend in together. So I kind of want to make sure you switch between hatching or stippling or cross hatching, so that way you have a different texture throughout your entire picture. Since I've zoomed in here, you can see that I am using a hatching technique on this book right here. And now I'm going back through and adding lines going the opposite direction, which now makes it cross-hatching. I want to use a variety because the book pages were just straight up hatching. I want to do cross-hatching to add a different texture, even though I'm on the same object. Pay attention to your reference photo. You are basically putting your lines closer together in the spots that have more shadow. That's the darker spots in your picture on your objects. I like to leave the spaces that are highlights completely blank because that is the white part of our paper. Don't forget that you also have the option to go through and make some lines thicker to make those stand out and be bold. You have two options. You can either one, get a normal size Sharpie that's a little bit thicker, or you can do what I'm doing here and just trace over it and making it a little bit wider with my ultrafine Sharpie. I want you to pay close attention to the direction that I'm making these marks. They're not all completely straight. Because the edge of or the spine of my books are a little bit curved, so are my lines. So make sure when you are doing your contour lines like this, or your detail lines, you are following those contour lines and giving it the illusion that it is curved or straight or bent, whatever it might be for your image. Make sure to include as much detail as possible. The more you have on there, the more realistic your objects are going to look, including even adding things like words, but make them look more like symbols, so that way we don't have any copyright issues when it comes to a contest. Continue to do this throughout your entire project, but remember that one object that we're going to color, it should be at the front, and it should not have any Sharpie on it. Leave it completely blank.